Hey, welcome back to Unity TV. In today's episode, we meet up with a former Unity player who made the jump to Europe to play professional football. You do not want to miss this guest. She's a forward from Surrey, BC, currently plays with FC Gintra in Lithuania, and played as yours number 16 for Unity FC. Let's jump into our sit down with Seina Kashima. And joining me now is Seina Kashima, previously of Unity FC, now in Lithuania of FC Ginta, and she joins us now on the show. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I want to first off start by your journey to falling in love into the world of football. What was the game or like the experience for you growing up that really decided, hey, I want to play this when I get older?
Yeah, it was a sport that I played basically all the way from, I don't know, as far back as I can remember. Both my older brothers also played. And yeah, it eventually became the sport that I chose because I wanted to go to California with a team. And then that became my priority sport. And from there, I was able to travel lots with it, and so many opportunities appeared. And yeah, when I went to Europe with one of the teams, I just really fell in love with the culture and the sport and the beauty of the game.
You have a great experience. You've been at Trinity Western University for several years. You've mentioned that you've been able to travel with a lot of places. Do you mind talking about your journey from the different clubs that you play for, different teams you play for?
Yeah, so when I was growing up, I actually grew up playing in the boys' league because my dad was a large part of that organization. So I did that up until, I honestly can't remember, it was like U10 or something like that. And then I switched over to Burnaby Girls FC for a couple of years. And then I went to Richmond. And then I went to Tawasin. And then eventually HPL started. And then I went to Mountain United for a few years before moving on to the Whitecaps. And then eventually to Trinity after my time at the Whitecaps came to an end.
And you also had great experience playing at Trinity Western. You played there for 5 years, and in 2018 you became the Canada West Player of the Year. Talk about that experience, like maturing as a player, as a striker, being known for scoring goals, and to really setting the standard in Canada West.
Yeah, that last season was a lot of fun to play. Lots of pieces just came together, and I also had some other great attacking players that finished a lot of my crosses and played some great through balls for me. So yeah, it was just kind of a year where everything came together, and I felt very confident in how I was playing and the style I was playing. And yeah, it just kind of just felt like all the pieces fell into place that year.
Moving on a couple of years, League One BC starts in 2022. You actually become involved with Unity in the first year, and also as part of this year in 2023. Talk about how you became part of the inaugural season of Unity FC.
Yeah, I had obviously taken some time off from playing soccer very competitively. I was in the women's league, which was a lot of fun, and I have a great team there. But it's obviously a very different level when you're playing against university players who are at the top of their game. So I just remember having a conversation with Graham one evening on the phone, and he sort of invited me out to join Unity. And eventually I decided I wanted to see if I can still compete at that level. So I joined that last year, and then this past year, I wanted to sort of prepare to go play professionally. So I knew that Unity would be a great opportunity to prepare me the best that was available to me. Yeah.
That's always amazing talking about hearing the story of like you wanted to go pro, you wanted to move on to the next level. What was the biggest thing that Unity helped you prepare you to become a professional footballer?
Yeah, I just like the speed of play and the competitive levels, and yeah, just everything is so high tempo with practices, and everyone's fighting for playing time and fighting for spots, and it makes you want to work harder and prove yourself. And that was the environment I definitely needed to be around if I wanted to take it to the next level.
You have like a great season this year with like 4 goals, even a hat trick in one game against Rivers FC. Sorry, Rivers FC. You have a great experience, and then this summer you made the transfer to go to Europe, become a professional. Talk about that whole journey of someone reaching out, having conversations, and officially making the transfer.
Yeah, I had honestly kind of given up on playing professional. I was teaching. I was pretty happy with my life. And then in the fall, I was kind of like, you know what? I want to travel. I want to play soccer again. And that definitely sparked from playing at Unity the summer before. And yeah, so I sort of reached out to a few people that I knew who were already playing abroad and asked them sort of what they thought and if I would be able to do it. And then I eventually reached out to Rob and I was like, hey, I'd love to play at Unity again this year because this is my goal. And he was very helpful and yeah, definitely helped me out a lot with that. And then eventually through one of my friends, I was able to connect with FC Gintra and they made an offer and here we are.
Well, that's very amazing that you're able to do that in a couple of years. That's very inspiring for people who are looking to do that. And talk about your experience. Like it's been a couple of months. You're settled into the club. Talk about the experience compared to where you are in Canada to now you're in Eastern Europe and Lithuania, and with FC Gintra. What that like people always talk about. It's always different experience going over to Europe. Like it's a different tempo, it's a different pace. Do you find that there is a big difference compared to Canada?
Yeah, it's been such an interesting adjustment. It's very different from Canada, I would say. I haven't fully pinpointed what it is exactly yet, but even on the field when I'm playing, it feels very different. And it might just be because I was so comfortable playing at Trinity and playing at Unity, which was very similar. And you're now playing with completely different players who you've never met before. And it's a brand new team and everything, a brand new league. And yeah, just it's so interesting. Yeah, the pace, the style, lots more just like slow pass, like more passing and moving the ball around. And I feel like North America is very much like you're running. So just very different styles and just been adjusting to that.
It's been an amazing journey for you to talk about your goals of like wanting to become pro, talking to people, getting into Unity, and making the jump over. What are long-term goals regarding football that you see that you want to still do in your career?
It's a great question. I fully haven't decided that for myself as well. My contract with Gintra is up here in a month or two, so definitely looking to continue play for the next to finish out this season somewhere else. And then, yeah, from there, I haven't decided if I want to end it off with that or just find another team to keep playing.
Well, with them being currently, I believe, second in the table right now, it seems like they're in good pace to see what they happens the end of the season. Jumping back to Unity, going through that whole experience, talking to Rob, talking to Graham, like talking about your experience being there for a season and a half. What was the biggest lessons you took from being there that really helped you like grow and mature to become a professional player?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me was just that environment. It was not. I think that's what made the biggest difference was the players and when you're close to people and you're able to just connect well with the other players and with the coaches, and when you're treating each other with respect and you're pushing one another and you want the best from each other, and you're creating your goal is to make yourself better every practice, but it's also to make your teammates better, and you're pushing everybody and yourself. And I find that that's sort of like the biggest thing I took from Unity and from Trinity is that you might be yelling at someone, but you're doing it out of love. And at the end of the practice, like everything's with respect and you're doing it to make one another better. And I think just having that respect factor is such a big thing that I was able to take from Unity and Trinity.
You really have inspired, in my opinion, a lot of people to really pursue going to League One BC and even the Unity to have the conversation and say, hey, we want to go to the professional level. We want to go to the next level. With Canada eventually starting Project 8, hopefully in the next couple of years, with NWSL, the Women's Super League in the UK, all the leagues going on and across the world. It's a really pivoting point with women's football. It's starting to grow significantly better, and I think there's more opportunity. Would you agree?
Oh, 100%. I think it's so exciting to see what is happening and to see hopefully eventually Canada having their own professional league as well. I think the development for youth and just the opportunities that they have, even compared to when I have, it's such a big jump. And yeah, I think there's so many exciting things happening in women's soccer going on around the world, and hopefully in Canada too, as League One was a great launch, and then hopefully, yeah, Project 8 will continue to build on that.
There's a lot of experiences people talk about, and when we have these interviews of like being part of Unity FC, whether with fans, with players, with coaches. What is the biggest thing, the biggest memory that you have being part of Unity FC for a year and a half that you're like, oh, I will always cherish this? Like, what was the biggest thing that stood out to you?
Again, honestly, for me, it was the people. I was able to play with some of my Trinity teammates again, which some of them we've been rivals in the women's league, so it's nice to be on the same side. And even to just be able to build into the younger girls and sort of see how they're doing at Trinity and be a part of that culture. And yeah, just being able to have family and friends come out to watch and be a part of that environment again too was very exciting, and I really enjoyed that.
You, based on the bio, like I did research, it says that you're from Burnaby. Playing for Trinity Western, that's in Langley, playing for Unity FC was also in Langley. It's always funny and interesting that with the League One BC starting is that there's so many clubs that are starting out locally, having local football. It's something that we're not used to in Canada. It's starting to develop in the semi-pro and professional side. How important is it for Langley to have this local football club?
Oh, it's huge, and you also see so many. Langley's a city that is growing so quickly, and you've got so many young families, and they're building so many new schools, and for those kids to be able to see like very, very close by them, like this is what you can do and this is where you can go, and to be able to easily go see games that are being played at a higher level is huge, and it'll be great for their development and to just inspire the younger generations.
Well, it's always great to talk to someone who's gone and make the progress to going from semi-pro to pro, going from university semi-pro to pro. Real quick, I actually want to ask, like, is a lot of people like to share like their favorite club or favorite player that they inspired them. What would be your favorite club or player that really inspired you?
My favorite player, it's a little cliche, but it was Messi. It is Messi. Yeah, pretty basic like that. But I just think his footwork is incredible and his movement is incredible. And me being a particularly small player myself, it was inspiring to see players like him or Iniesta or Xavi to be able to just go and have so much success at such a high level. And yeah, always loved watching him and seeing what he can do, and that's definitely inspired me.
Is there a favorite club either in Canada or abroad that you, as a fan, always cheer for and like, this is my club through and through, if they're doing great or not so great?
I'm not like a diehard fan, but I obviously went with Barcelona because Messi was there, and then for my German club, it was always Borussia Dortmund.
Well, the Germans would definitely appreciate the Borussia Dortmund ties as well. Now, because Messi is now in MLS, do you feel like you have to follow Inter Miami at this current time?
No. I will always support Messi, but yeah, I'll stay slightly loyal to my Vancouver Whitecaps.
Well, the Whitecaps like that will definitely appreciate that. Sienna, really appreciate your time in this interview, and we hope the best during the rest of your season.
Thank you so much. It was nice chatting with you.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like what you saw, give it a big old thumbs up for us. And make sure to follow us on our other socials right here. See you next time.